The late afternoon sun streamed through the tall windows of the community wellness center, bathing the polished wooden floor in a golden glow. The space was quiet, except for the gentle hum of ceiling fans and the soft rustle of mats being unrolled. It was here that Clara, a woman entering the third trimester of her pregnancy, had come to face her doubts, her anxieties, and her longing for strength. She had always thought of pregnancy as a journey of beauty and wonder, but she hadn't anticipated how much it would test her resilience. Her back ached, her legs swelled, and her emotions fluctuated like tides. Yet beneath all that discomfort was a profound determination. She wanted to be present, powerful, and prepared for the moment her child would arrive. It was at this very moment that her eyes fell on something simple, almost unassuming, resting in the corner of the room. A large, brightly colored Swiss ball. At first it seemed ordinary, just another piece of exercise equipment that others had probably used without much thought. But for Clara, that ball became the symbol of a challenge and a promise. The instructor, a calm and encouraging woman named Helena, noticed Clara's curious glance and smiled knowingly. "Don't underestimate it," Helena said warmly, rolling the ball toward her. "This may look like a toy, but it holds the key to strength, balance, and courage. Amazing! Unleash your body's power. Swiss ball exercises every pregnant woman needs." Those words struck Clara like a spark. She felt something awaken inside her, a sense that her body, though tired and stretched in ways she had never known, was still capable of extraordinary things. Helena's voice carried the tone of someone who believed deeply in the transformative power of movement, and Clara decided then and there that she would learn not only to use this ball, but also to reclaim her trust in her body. The first time she sat on it, Clara felt awkward, almost clumsy. Her balance wavered, her legs trembled, and for a brief moment she thought she might slide right off. Yet Helena guided her gently, encouraging her to close her eyes, plant her feet firmly on the ground, and imagine the rhythm of her breath as an anchor. Slowly, Clara began to sway side to side, discovering a surprising grace in the motion. With every shift of her weight, she could feel her spine lengthening, her hips loosening, her breath deepening. It wasn't just an exercise. It was a conversation between her body and her spirit. Day by day, as the weeks unfolded, Clara returned to the center, greeted each time by the familiar bounce of the Swiss ball. What began as a simple tool for movement grew into a sacred companion in her journey. She practiced gentle pelvic tilts that released the tension in her lower back, circles that massaged her hips, and stretches that allowed her to feel both grounded and free. With every exercise, she wasn't just preparing her muscles. She was building a dialogue of trust with her body, acknowledging its wisdom and honoring the life it was nurturing. Friends and family noticed the change in her. She carried herself with a new steadiness, a glow that wasn't just from the pregnancy, but from the confidence she was cultivating. When doubts crept in, fears about labor, sleepless nights, and the unknown, Clara would close her eyes and recall the steady rhythm of her movements on the ball. The feeling of strength flowing back into her limbs, the reminder that she was not powerless but profoundly capable. What amazed Clara most was how the Swiss ball became a metaphor for motherhood itself. Balancing on it required patience, trust, and surrender. The more she fought to control the movement, the more she wobbled. But when she allowed herself to flow, to breathe, to adjust with gentleness rather than force, she found stability. It was as if the ball was teaching her the very lessons she would need when cradling her newborn in the quiet hours of the night: flexibility, resilience, and the courage to trust her instincts. Helena often reminded the group of women who gathered for these classes that exercise during pregnancy was not about perfection or performance. It was about connection. She would say, "Each breath is a bridge. each movement a whisper of encouragement to your child. You are not only preparing your body for birth, you were teaching your heart how to embrace the unknown with strength. Clara took those words deeply to heart. She realized that every circle she made on the ball, every gentle stretch, was also a gift she was offering her baby, the gift of calm, of presence, of love in motion. As the final weeks of her pregnancy drew closer, Clara felt an undeniable sense of empowerment. She no longer feared the challenges that lay ahead. She understood that labor would test her limits, but she also knew she carried within her the memory of countless hours of swaying, stretching, and breathing, proof that she could adapt, endure, and thrive. The Swiss ball had become her ally, a reminder that balance is not something given, but something created moment by moment. When the day finally arrived, and Clara felt the first waves of labor ripple through her, she remembered Helena's voice and the mantra that had carried her through so many sessions. Amazing! Unleash your body's power. She reached for the Swiss ball in the birthing room, just as she had during her practice, and leaned into it with trust. Each contraction became a rhythm she could sway with, each moment of pain a reminder of the strength she had cultivated. Hours later, as she held her newborn against her chest, Clara whispered to herself, not words of exhaustion, but of triumph. She had walked through the fire of labor with balance, grace, and courage, and the memory of that glowing golden room, where it all began, lived forever in her heart. In the months that followed, Clara often shared her story with other expectant mothers. She told them about the aches, the fears, the doubts that had once weighed heavily on her shoulders, and how something as simple as a ball had transformed not just her body, but her spirit. It's not about the exercise alone, she would say, but about what it awakens inside you. You discover that you're stronger than you imagined, braver than you believed, and more balanced than you ever thought possible. Her story spread quietly, inspiring women who had once felt powerless in their pregnancies to step into their own strength. The Swiss ball classes grew, filled with women laughing, swaying, sometimes crying, but always leaving with lighter hearts and stronger spirits. And in that community, a powerful truth blossomed. Pregnancy was not a time of limitation, but a season of awakening. Years later, when Clara watched her daughter take her first steps, she recognized the same wobble, the same tentative balancing that she herself had practiced on the ball. It brought tears to her eyes. She realized that life, in all its stages, was about learning to sway, to find center, to breathe deeply and trust the rhythm. She whispered again the words that had become her guiding light. Amazing. Unleash your body's power. For in every challenge, whether in pregnancy, motherhood, or beyond, the secret was the same: to believe in the wisdom of the body, the strength of the spirit, and the beauty of the journey. And so Clara's story was not only her own, but a testament to all women who dared to embrace their bodies, to trust the unknown, and to rise with grace. The Swiss ball remained, not just an object, but a symbol of empowerment. Each time she saw one, whether in a gym, a studio, or a friend's living room, she smiled, knowing it carried the same promise, the promise of balance, of resilience, of discovering the extraordinary within the ordinary. For every woman who sat upon it, uncertain yet hopeful, the journey began anew. And just as it had for Clara, the ball whispered its secret. Strength lies not in resisting the wobble, but in learning to move with it.